welcome to the show. And we're your hosts, Cynthia Ann
and Janessa. And today we have a special guest, Sierra.
Still believe it, I'm undefeated.
Today we're going to talk about back to school jitters and tips. So I'm gonna go first, and so I have two different sets of jitters and tips because I'm both a parent and a student myself. So as a student, I am going to school for my PhD, and I take my classes online. I attend a university that's in a different state. Every semester I have to travel to that state. I live in Illinois and the university is in Pennsylvania. And so one of the things that gives me a lot of anxiety is travel. I love traveling, but the process of traveling, not so much. If I could just go like this and be where I need to be, that would be great, but I have to get on an airplane. So I have issues with getting on airplanes and the expenses of the travel, right? I always think about that, what it's going to cost for the hotel, what it's going to cost for the airplane, and then what it's going to cost for the rental of the car. And so my tips for those, because this semester I did really well with getting a good price on my hotel and a good price on my airline ticket, and that was because, yes, I did it way in advance, like a month in advance, and normally I am getting my tickets a week before or days before, and then it's 3 times the amount of what the ticket will cost if you do it a month in advance. So book your tickets, and this is commonly known, but when your lives are so busy, that's one thing we don't think about, but really it works, you guys. I couldn't believe what my plane ticket cost me, and what my hotel cost me, and what even my car rental, and I get, you can get special discounts, so look out for those discounts for car rental. Everything together cost me what my hotel cost me last semester. And so, I can't stay at motels or, certain stars. I have to stay at really decent, nice hotels so I can actually sleep in the bed. And so I was just so happy that, what it cost for the hotel last semester is what I'm paying for my entire trip this year. So book early, plan in advance, and look out for those discounts when it comes to your car rentals. And when it comes to traveling, pack early. It's very important, and plan your outfits, right? So each and every day of your trip what you're going to wear. Or if you're not as organized as I am, at least get all those things early, put in your suitcase early if you're like me, and get some anxiety with that. Janessa, let's talk about your jitters as a student.
So this is my junior year, so that in itself is just stressful and anxiety, but more specifically my teachers. Every year in high school you get new teachers, and in elementary school I had the same teacher for 3 years, and then in middle school I had the same set of teachers for 3 years. So it's always weird for me to adjust to having new teachers at school, and even more so every year having to relearn these teachers, and then learning how they're gonna treat you, how they treat the class, how they teach, and all that stuff. And then if they don't suit how you learn, it's always really hard. And I already have one teacher that I'm we're just not gonna connect, but it's fine. I'm just gonna do my work and pass the class. And that moves on to my second jitter, which is AP classes. I'm taking 3 this year.
What are AP classes, for those who may not know what AP stands for?
AP stands for Advanced Placement, so it's college level classes at high school level. So if you pass the test at the end of the year, then you get the college credit, which means you don't have to take the course in college. So I'm taking 3 of those classes this year, and one of them is physics, and based on this first week of school, I know that's going to be my hardest one, so that's stressing me out. I have to relearn everything this weekend. But my tips for teachers in AP classes would be to just focus on yourself and not worry so much about the teacher's personality or what they like and what they don't like, because you're not there to be liked by the teachers, you're there to learn. So I would just stick to my self and how I learn. And then for AP classes, ask a lot of questions and use your resources. I'm just learning about some of the resources my school has because no one's ever told me about them, but this year they did because I have all the AP classes. And then also learn from your mistakes. Last year I had my English, my summer reading every year, for honors and AP, you have a summer reading book that you have to read and annotate.
Which stresses out parents, those summer readings.
Yeah, because it's like, who wants to be reading all summer long? But last year I didn't do it, and my initial grade in the class that first week of school was an F. And then my teacher was like, Janessa, you seem like a really good girl. And I was like, yeah. So he let me redo the assignment.
And after all year of saying, Janessa, are you gonna do this? Janessa, the teacher is giving you an extension.
Yeah, it took up to like Christmas break when I finally turned it in. But I still got the credit, and I'm so thankful to that teacher. I still see him a lot. And he made me realize that I actually have to like put in the work if I want to see results. I got a B+ at the end of the year, so yeah, I was fine. But this year I got an A on my active reading because I just kind of just pushed. I was like, Janessa, you just have to do this no matter how much you don't want to. And my teacher, who I had last year, he was, when I told him I had an A, he was so happy, and he was like, see, I knew you could do it. You just have to push yourself. Even when you don't want to, or you feel like it's pointless, everything has a purpose, so just do it.
And I wanted to talk about the resources. You're like, you didn't know about them, but now this year you do. What if no one told you? Do you think it's good advice to seek out the resources yourself as a student? Do you think that's something that should be our responsibility as a student as well, to seek the resources ourselves?
I think so, yes, that if you're unsure, that you should ask. But then like there was always a stigma of like students don't like school, so it's kind of like we didn't think we had any like help, but now I'm finding out there's like after school labs that you can go to, and like all these sessions that they have at school, and I'm like, wow, this would have helped me in chemistry last year, but now I can have that help this year.
So ask, right? And you know, you have made a point that, you know, the students aren't there necessarily to be liked by teachers, but it's good to be liked by the teachers as well, right? So behavior is important, but initially what you're saying is not to worry so much about
to not have your main focus be I need this teacher to like me.
Yes, it's just to go there, be who you are, and get the job done, right? Now, Sierra, what are your jitters and tips? Sierra is in middle school. She's in the 7th grade, and so we wanted to get a different perspective, you know, not just from an adult woman and from someone who's in high school, but from a young lady who's in the middle school level.
Yeah, so I think I mostly struggle with just like the stress of being in like the school environment and just like going back to school, having all the work to do, and like having it finished like on the exact due dates. Because then when I did my summer reading, I was like, oh, I'll just have this at this time. Like I know what I'm doing, and I have it to my own mindset. But then like with the teacher, what they want you to do. So I deal with that by like I make sure I write everything down and have everything like organized, like precise how I want it. So then I'm like, okay, so this is how I have it. This is how he wants it. So I'm gonna do it this way. Another jitter that I have is just dealing with like the kids in school, because they can be very mean and just like very harsh to you in that environment. So I know who my friends are, and I know like who I'm gonna stick with in middle school. So I just try not to pay attention to any of the kids who are like not my friends, because they don't really matter in my life.
Yeah, and you know, to add to Sierra's point, as an adult, I think that for me, even going to school and being on campus at the university, that's another thing, because adults can be mean as well, right? So these mean girls are because they have mean moms. And so it doesn't end what Sierra feels as an adult. I feel within the classroom on campus when we're in classes, it's just like not everyone is your friend, and that doesn't change even as adult, even though you expect it to change. And so then you just have to stick with the peer group that you know are for you. And so, you know, regardless of how old you are as an adult, as a mother and as a student, I still face that when I go on campus, and it's just like, oh, okay, I still have to deal with this. I thought that was over with. But you know, it's really how you deal with it. You just stick within the circle of people that you know that supports you and that you support them. As a parent, it's always one of the jitter I face is that my children are going to be okay, and that the challenges that they're going to face for the upcoming year, that they're going to be able to handle it, and that as a parent that I'm going to be able to have the right words to say to them or to provide them with the resources. And so a tip for parents is really to connect with the school and to connect with the resources in your community, find out about them and talk to other parents, and most importantly talk to your children, because you know they're the ones who are able to tell you what's going on with them. Do you guys feel you can talk to me?
No, most of the time.
Most of the time. It's good to get most of the time, maybe not all the time, but you know they're the ones who are going through it, and if they're able to come to me or their dad and to say, you know, mommy, this is what's going on, you know, and I can help in whatever way I can help. And then I'll ask them, you know, what do you want me to do? Because sometimes that requires a visit to the school, and if they don't want me to go at the school and they want to figure it out by themselves, it's like working together with them, like, okay, so what do you want to do? You know, so sometimes it's not parents, they don't want us to go fix it for them. They kind of just want us to be their sounding board, for them to talk it over with and to help them come up with solutions that they can handle it themselves. It's all about empowerment, right, ladies? And so we're not empowering our girls if we're going out fixing it for them, until it comes to the point where it's like, okay, mommy's got to step in now and do what mommy do, and then I've got their backs for that. So yes, so let's breathe. And you know, I was saying to Janessa off camera, you know, we talk about mindfulness a lot. That's one of the things that I try to practice and that I've taught my girls, you know, and even with the girls in the organization, in our girls group, is to be very mindful, because anxiety is really thinking about what is to come, and depression is being stuck in the past, what has happened and that you couldn't fix it, you know. And if we just live here and now, we won't have to deal with those anxieties, these jitters that we're dealing with. They are real, and so we have to plan for them as best that we can, and you know, and to follow through with those plans. So thank you for tuning in, Sierra. Thank you for joining us. We hope you'll join us again. She said she'll be behind scenes, she'll do her editing for us, because Dad normally does the editing. So Sierra has picked up a new skill, so she's like, oh, I'll be behind the camera, but we'll see her again. And so we want to thank you for tuning in. Like, share,
comment, and subscribe.
Thank you.